Imagine holding a cup filled with something so ordinary, so routine, that you never pause to consider it might be rewriting the story unfolding within your body at this very moment. Not in a vague or wishful sense, but deep at the cellular level, where your tissues decide between repair and decline, where your metabolism chooses whether to store or to burn, and where your body silently determines how you will age. What if I told you that this familiar drink, one that may already be in your kitchen, has been scientifically shown to awaken your body's own stem cells, melt away resistant fat, and ease the inflammation that fuels chronic illness? This is not about a miracle potion or an expensive supplement. It is about rediscovering what nature has always placed before us and what science now confirms actually works. Today we are going to uncover one of the most powerful yet underrated beverages on the planet and how it can help you feel more energetic, lighter, and fully alive no matter where you are in your journey. Let us begin with something most people never realize. You were born with an extraordinary gift, a hidden system designed to heal you from the inside out. I am referring to stem cells. Now, I understand that phrase might make you think of costly clinics or controversial procedures, but stay with me. From the instant you drew your first breath, your body carried between 70 and 80 million stem cells. They are not locked away in some unreachable vault. They live within your bone marrow, rest inside your organs, weave through your skin, and yes, even reside in your body fat. Think of them as your body's personal construction team, always ready, always on standby, waiting to rebuild, repair, and renew whatever needs attention. For years, we were taught that humans do not regenerate like certain animals do. You have likely heard stories of salamanders regrowing limbs or starfish recreating missing arms, and we used to say, that is them, not us. But that is no longer completely true. Modern science has shown that we do regenerate just at a slower pace. Your liver can regrow itself, your lungs can restore their structure, even sections of your brain can regenerate, something that would have sounded like fantasy not long ago. The difference is that we do not regrow entire limbs, but rather rebuild ourselves from within, cell by cell, tissue by tissue. The question is not whether you possess this power to regenerate. The question is, are you providing your body with what it needs to do so effectively? Now here is where things become both fascinating and slightly unsettling. Those same stem cells that help you recover are also responsible for something you likely wish they were not, the storage of fat. When you consume more fuel than your body requires, that excess energy must find a home. Your body, being intelligent, wastes nothing. It stores that surplus inside fat cells, your energy reserves. But once those reserves reach capacity, your body does not stop. It calls upon those stem cells and says, we need additional storage. The stem cells comply, transforming into new fat cells. That is why some people gain weight quickly, even when their eating habits have not changed dramatically. It is not only about the food itself, it is about how your body responds at the cellular level. Yet here lies the good news. If stem cells can be instructed to create fat, they can also be directed towards something entirely different. Repair, rejuvenation, and energy burning rather than energy hoarding. And the signals that guide them come directly from the foods and beverages you choose daily. For instance, certain foods contain special compounds called bioactives that communicate with your stem cells. Tomatoes, for example, are rich in lycopene, the pigment that gives them their vibrant red color. But lycopene does more than add color. It keeps fat stem cells calm. It tells them to rest, not to multiply, not to build more fat. Olives and olive oil contain another fascinating compound called hydroxytyrosol. This one not only prevents fat buildup, but also nudges your stem cells toward repair mode, helping your body rebuild tissue instead of expanding your waistline. It might sound almost too simple. Can a tomato or a drizzle of olive oil truly influence what happens deep within your fat tissue? The answer is yes, and it is not magic. It is pure biology. These compounds are like messengers, traveling through your bloodstream, reaching your cells, and delivering instructions. When you understand this, you begin to see that every bite, every sip is a conversation with your body. You are either telling it to store and slow down or to heal and accelerate. So, if food can do this, what about drinks? That is where this story becomes even more remarkable. Because there is one beverage, ancient, time-tested, and scientifically validated, that elevates all of this to another level entirely. I am speaking of tea, not the bottled, sugar-loaded iced tea, nor the artificially flavored versions. I mean authentic tea, the kind consumed for thousands of years, from the misty mountains of China to the serene villages of Japan to the rolling hills of India. Tea is among the most thoroughly researched beverages in existence, and what scientists have discovered about it is nothing short of astonishing. Let us start with green tea, since that is what most people recognize first. Green tea is packed with a family of compounds called polyphenols. Among them, one stands out: EGCG. I will not ask you to memorize that term. What matters is what it does. This compound has been shown to block the blood vessels that nourish expanding fat tissue. It lowers inflammation. It safeguards your stem cells, allowing them to perform their duties efficiently. It even acts as a prebiotic, feeding the beneficial bacteria in your gut. And a healthy gut is absolutely vital for a healthy metabolism. But here is the key point for us today. Research confirms that the polyphenols in green tea help reduce visceral fat, the hidden dangerous fat that surrounds your organs, fueling inflammation and increasing the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and Alzheimer's. Now, you might wonder, how much difference can a single cup really make? A fair question. The answer is in consistency. One cup will not transform you overnight, but one cup every day over weeks and months begins to reshape your biology. Think of it like steering a large ship. You do not yank the wheel sharply to one side, you make small, steady adjustments. That is what we are doing here, giving your body gentle, continuous signals that accumulate over time. And green tea is only the beginning. Matcha takes things to another level. Unlike regular tea, matcha is made from the entire tea leaf, finely ground into powder. About a month before harvest, farmers shade the plants, stressing them slightly. In response, the plants produce dramatically higher levels of polyphenols, sometimes 30 times, even up to 300 times more than standard green tea. That means when you drink matcha, you are consuming the entire leaf, including its fiber and a concentrated dose of those restorative compounds. Studies even show that matcha can target cancer stem cells, the very ones that cause tumors to return. I am not saying matcha cures cancer, but it is undeniably powerful. For anyone wanting to maintain muscle, protect the brain, and keep the body regenerating with age, matcha is a gentle, delightful daily ritual worth embracing. Then there is oolong tea, which is partially fermented, and pu'er tea, which is fully fermented and sometimes aged for years. Many assume that fermentation reduces tea's benefits. It does not. In fact, fermentation creates new beneficial compounds and introduces probiotics, living bacteria that strengthen your gut health. Pu'er tea, historically traded along the Silk Road, was fermented and smoked to survive the long journey. Today, research shows that pu'er tea activates brown fat, in the type that burns calories to produce warmth and reduces the creation of new fat cells. Drinking it is like pressing a metabolic reset button. And if tea is not to your taste, or if you want another option, there is coffee. Coffee is rich in chlorogenic acid and a variety of other polyphenols. These compounds protect your stem cells, enhance your metabolism, and help your body handle sugar more effectively. Even decaffeinated coffee provides these benefits. Caffeine itself gives a mild metabolic boost, awakening your brain and gently stimulating energy burn. Though it is not ideal for everyone, whether you choose caffeinated or decaf, the coffee bean remains a powerhouse of protective compounds. Here's another intriguing fact. Even the temperature of what you drink plays a role. When you consume something cold, iced tea, cold water, your stomach detects the temperature drop and triggers brown fat activation to warm it back up. That process burns calories, not a massive amount, but enough to matter when done regularly. So if you enjoy cold water or chilled tea in the morning, you're giving your metabolism a small but meaningful boost every time. Now, I want to make something very clear. None of this is about cutting things out of your life or forcing restrictions. It is not about deprivation, nor is it about chasing perfection. It is about addition, adding in these powerful research-backed beverages that align with your body's natural systems. It is about creating small, lasting habits that feel natural and that your body actually responds to. Because here's the truth. Your body wants to heal. It wants to renew itself. It wants to remain strong and vibrant, but it requires the proper cues. And those cues come from what you feed it, not occasionally, but every single day. Let me share something most people never hear, though every doctor should be explaining it. When we talk about body fat, we usually think of what we can see. The softness around the belly, the jiggle near the thighs, or that little bit under the arms. That is called subcutaneous fat. And yes, it matters. But there is another type of fat that is far more dangerous, and you cannot see it at all. It is called visceral fat, the fat that hides deep within your body, wrapping itself around your organs like a thick cushion. And what makes it so harmful is this. You can appear thin, even look perfectly fit from the outside, and still be carrying a dangerous amount of this hidden fat. Picture this. You are shipping a fragile light bulb. You put it in a box and surround it with just enough packing peanuts to keep it safe. But then you keep adding more and more until they start pressing against the bulb itself. From the outside, the box still looks neat and compact, but inside the pressure is rising, threatening to crack what it is meant to protect. That is exactly how visceral fat behaves. It squeezes your liver, your kidneys, your heart, your intestines. When there is too much of it, it starts suffocating those organs. It expands rapidly. It triggers inflammation, and it does not care whether you are overweight or slender. Anyone can accumulate it. One of the most surprising places visceral fat shows up is in your tongue. Yes, your tongue. Researchers studying tongue anatomy discovered that it is divided into 3 sections. The tip is flexible, helping you taste and move food. The middle section is mostly muscle, strong and active. But the back portion, the part you rarely think about, is marbled with fat, much like a piece of steak. And when people begin to gain weight, even slightly, that hidden fat often starts collecting right there in the back of the tongue. The first sign, snoring. Your partner might mention you have started snoring, or you might wake up gasping for air. When you lie down and your body relaxes, that fatty portion of the tongue relaxes too, narrowing your airway. It is called sleep apnea, and it is far more common than people realize. Here is the important takeaway. If your tongue is gaining fat, so are your organs. It is an early alarm that visceral fat is increasing, a signal that deserves attention. The encouraging news is that visceral fat responds quickly to the very strategies we have been discussing. Because it is metabolically active, it reacts faster than other types of fat when you start making positive changes. When you begin drinking tea regularly, when you strengthen your gut health, when you fuel your body with nutrients instead of empty calories, that visceral fat begins to shrink. You might not see it immediately in the mirror, but you will feel it. More energy, deeper sleep, less puffiness, clearer thinking, and reduced joint pain. Those are signs of your body healing itself from the inside out. Now let us address something crucial. Many people think fat is the enemy, something to be eliminated completely. That belief is simply not true. Fat, by itself, is not the villain. In fact, your body depends on fat for survival. It cushions vital organs, regulates temperature, and stores energy for when you need it most. The problem arises when fat becomes excessive, inflamed, and dysfunctional. Our goal is not to destroy fat, it is to balance it, to help it function as it was meant to. And the way to do that is by sending it the right messages through what we eat, what we drink, and how we live. So let us discuss how this looks in practice, because understanding this conceptually is one thing, but applying it to daily life is another. And I want this to be something you can actually begin tomorrow morning. You do not need to change everything overnight. You do not need to throw out everything in your pantry or enroll in some strict program. All you need is a simple, sustainable rhythm built around a few core habits. Here is what that might look like. Start your morning with hydration. Before coffee, before checking your phone, before anything else. Drink 1 full glass of cold water, not lukewarm, cold. Remember what we discussed earlier. When that cold water reaches your stomach, your body senses the drop in temperature and activates brown fat to warm things up, subtly boosting your metabolism. It is a small but meaningful metabolic lift that sets the tone for your entire day. It wakes your system up, signals your body that it is time to move, to burn, to renew. And truthfully, most of us wake up slightly dehydrated. So this one simple act, a glass of cold water first thing, is a gentle but powerful start. Then, by mid-morning, prepare yourself a cup of green tea or matcha. If matcha feels intimidating, do not overthink it. Yes, it is a powder. Yes, it froths beautifully when whisked. But you can also just stir it into hot water or blend it into a smoothie. What matters is getting those polyphenols into your system. This becomes your mid-morning signal. Protect, restore, support. If you enjoy rituals, make this a mindful one. Sit quietly, take a deep breath, sip slowly, let it be your moment of calm. While you relax, your body is working, activating stem cells, supporting your gut, calming inflammation, and guiding fat cells to behave properly. After lunch, change things up. Brew a cup of oolong or pu'er tea. These teas are especially good for digestion. Fermented teas, in particular, help your gut process the food you just ate, introducing beneficial bacteria that keep your microbiome balanced. And remember, a healthy gut is not only about avoiding bloating, it connects directly to your metabolism, your immunity, even your mood. That simple post-lunch cup of tea is more than a pleasant habit. It is a science-backed step toward better health. If you are a coffee drinker, enjoy it in the mid-afternoon for an energy lift. Just one rule: skip the sugar and flavored syrups. Keep it pure. Black, or with just a small splash of milk if you prefer. The chlorogenic acid and polyphenols in coffee are the true heroes here. Adding sugar cancels their effect by spiking insulin, which tells your body to store rather than burn fat. And if caffeine does not suit you, switch to decaf. You will still receive the benefits. Throughout your day, continue to sip water. Cold if possible, but room temperature works fine too. Hydration is one of the simplest and most overlooked foundations of health. It keeps your blood circulating, your cells communicating, your kidneys cleansing, and your skin radiant. And as I mentioned earlier, it supports your metabolism in quiet but powerful ways. If plain water feels uninteresting, add a slice of lemon, a sprig of mint, or brew a pitcher of chilled green tea for your refrigerator. The key is to make it easy, enjoyable, and consistent, not perfect. Here's what I want you to recognize. Each of these beverages, whether water, tea, or coffee, carries a message for your body. And that message is: repair, do not store; renew, do not decline; burn, do not hoard. Your body is always listening. It was designed to listen. But it needs to hear that message often, steadily, day after day. This is not a quick fix. This is about building a new normal, one that, over time, becomes the foundation for a stronger, healthier, and more resilient you. I also want to address something that might be on your mind right now. You might be thinking, Dr. Lee, this all sounds good, but does it really work for people like me? For someone who is in their 50s, 60s, or even 70s? And my answer is a resounding yes. The research shows that your body never loses its ability to respond. Your metabolism does not vanish with age. What changes is the communication, the signals you send through your diet and daily habits. When you restore that communication, your body remembers what to do. Let me share an example. In one study, researchers asked a group of older adults, people in their 60s and 70s, to drink green tea daily for several months. They made no other major lifestyle changes. By the end of the study, not only had their body fat decreased, but their waistlines had shrunk. Their blood sugar control improved, and inflammatory markers dropped significantly. Their bodies listened to the new messages. Their fat cells started behaving differently. Their metabolism began to reawaken. That is what I mean when I say your body never forgets how to heal. The systems that keep you strong, slim, and energized are always there. They simply need the right signals to activate. And here is where it gets even more interesting. Your gut microbiome, which I often refer to as your body's inner garden, plays a huge role in all of this. Think of it as a bustling community of trillions of bacteria working together to digest food, produce nutrients, and regulate your metabolism. When this garden is healthy, it grows beneficial bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids, natural compounds that tell your body to burn fat and reduce inflammation. But when the garden becomes overrun with harmful bacteria, often due to processed food, excess sugar, or stress, those signals become confused. Your metabolism slows down and your body starts storing more fat, especially around the organs. The good news is beverages like tea and coffee actually help nurture that garden. The polyphenols in tea act as prebiotics. That means they feed the good bacteria and help them flourish. So, when you drink green tea or oolong tea, you are not just hydrating. You are tending your internal garden, encouraging the healthy bacteria to multiply and crowd out the harmful ones. Over time, this shift transforms how your body uses energy and stores fat. And if you are wondering how long it takes to see results, most studies show that positive changes in gut bacteria begin within just a few days of consistent intake. You may not see it in the mirror yet, but inside, your biology is already transforming. Now, I want to pause and bring this back to something very human, something emotional, because health is not just a physical state. It is a feeling. It is about waking up in the morning and not being tired. It is about walking up a flight of stairs and realizing it feels easier than it did last month. It is about having clarity of mind, steady energy, and a quiet sense of confidence in your body. When you start giving your body what it needs, water, tea, nourishment, it begins to reward you. Not with dramatic overnight results, but with steady, noticeable improvements that make life simply better. And this brings us to an essential point. Consistency matters more than perfection. If you miss a day, it does not erase your progress. If you indulge in dessert or skip your tea, it is fine. What matters is returning to these habits the next day, again and again, until they become part of who you are. Your body does not judge, it simply responds. I often tell my patients, think of your metabolism as a thermostat, not a switch. You are not flipping it on or off. You are gradually adjusting it, 1 degree at a time, until your internal climate feels right again. And over time, those small adjustments lead to big, lasting change. So let us revisit the core message. You have 3 powerful beverages: water, tea, and coffee. Each one influences your body in a unique but complementary way. Water hydrates and awakens your metabolism. Tea heals, protects, and guides fat cells toward balance. Coffee energizes and sharpens your system while supporting fat burning when used wisely. Together, they form a simple yet potent trio that you can use daily. No supplements, no extremes, no gimmicks. Just natural, evidence-based nourishment that supports your body's own intelligence. I often think of it like tuning an instrument. Your body is the instrument, finely crafted, designed to perform beautifully. Over time, stress, processed foods, and aging can cause it to go slightly out of tune, but it does not mean it is broken. It only means it needs gentle, consistent tuning, the kind you can achieve with these everyday choices. So as you move forward, I encourage you to think about what your body is hearing from you every day. Is it hearing chaos, sugar spikes, dehydration, irregular meals, or is it hearing calm, steady, supportive signals from foods and drinks that nourish? Because what you repeat is what your body learns. Let this be your takeaway today. Healing is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters most, consistently. And remember, your body is not your enemy. It is your partner. It has been working tirelessly for you since the day you were born. All it asks for is the right support. And when you give it that, it will respond with more strength, more energy, and more vitality than you may have felt in years. Now, before I close, I want to leave you with a thought that I hope stays with you long after this video ends. Your health is not determined by your age, your genetics, or your past choices. It is shaped by what you do from this moment onward. Every sip of tea, every glass of water, every mindful choice sends a signal to your body that says, I am choosing life, I am choosing renewal, I am choosing strength. That is the power of everyday health. It is not built in laboratories or locked in prescription bottles. It is created in your kitchen, in your cup, and in your daily rhythm. And it is available to you right now. So, take that first step. Fill your glass, brew your tea. Let your body hear the message it has been waiting for. Because health is not something you chase, it is something you awaken. Thank you for watching, and as always, take good care of yourself.